Ladies and gentlemen, let us read the rundown for this conference today. The first is opening.
The second is presentation by Professor Bing Wong.
The important one, main event.
The fourth one, awarding ceremony, best paper announcement.
The fifth is photo session.
And the last is closing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first agenda is presentation. This presentation will be delivered by Professor Bing Wong from Huazhong University, Science and Technology, China. The title of the presentation is Poverty Reduction, China's Innovation and Global Cooperation. It will be guided by Tri Mega Asri Esos MECOM as moderator. To Miss Mega, the time is yours.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to say thank you to all of you for joining Bravo 2022 International Conference, Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Creativity. Well, before we start our presentation, let me introduce myself. I'm Tri Mega Asri, Esos MECOM, as a moderator on invited speaker in Bravo 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation today is about poverty reduction, China's innovation, and global cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, I will explain the CV for invited speaker today. He is Professor Bing Wong. He is professor at a College of Public Administration in Huazhong University of Science Technology, China. He got PhD from School of Management, Huazhong University of Science and Technology, China. He got achievement in 2003 until 2004, State Scholarship Fund of China, and 2000 until 2001, Guanghua Studentship, Huazhong University of Science and Technology. His research interests include sustainable development, public value, global governance, government reform, environmental policy and governance, regional development. So to shorten the time, the next agenda is a presentation session from Professor Bing Wong. Professor Bing Wong, take your time in 30 minutes to present your topic.
Okay, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's good. I think I can share my PPT for you. Okay, good morning, everyone. Firstly, I think I'm very thankful to University Brawijaya. And I have visited this university several years ago. I think it's maybe around 2015 or 2016. I remember that Brawijaya is a very beautiful university, and Indonesia is a very beautiful country. And I have been there. It's a good memory. But because of the pandemic, so we can only stay in home. But thanks for the globalization and the internet, so we can share our ideas by the internet and this technology. So my topic today is about the poverty reduction about China, in China. This is really a good achievement by the Chinese government and the Chinese people during the last several decades. I hope that I can share with you some experience and some achievements of China. And I think I have 4 contents in my presentation. Firstly, I will introduce you some achievements of the poverty reduction, and then this poverty reduction is from the China's innovation, according to this topic of this conference, innovation, because the poverty reduction also needs the government innovation. And the third part is about the global cooperation, because the poverty reduction is not only for one country, it's a world business, it's a world affairs. So I think that all our countries, including China and Indonesia and the African countries, we can cooperate to improve the poverty reduction performance. And then finally, it's the outlook. Firstly, I think that in the past 40 years, because since the reform and open in 1978, by the poverty standard of the World Bank, which is 1.9 per day for extreme poverty. According to this standard, 770 million Chinese people have escaped from poverty by the government, by the help of government policy. And this amount of people is about 75% of the world population who got out of poverty. So we can say that Chinese government and the Chinese people contributed 75% of the world poverty reduction. And here are some data. And this is really a big achievement. And secondly, I want to give you some basic data. Although China is a big country with the largest population and the number 3 geographic size, but maybe you do not know, if you compare with other countries, you will understand more about this achievement. And the US is a big country, but the US population is much less than China, only 323 million. And the UK is a quite small country, just similar as the province of China. And China has 34 provincial regions, districts, provinces, provincial, 34. So, and for example, my province, now I am in Hubei province, is in the center of China. It's Hubei province has 59 million population. It's similar, comparable to the UK. And 180,000 square kilometer. Okay, so Hubei province can be similar as the UK. And Germany is a little bigger than UK, but Germany is similar to Sichuan province, who has 83 million population and about 300,000 kilometer square. So Germany is similar as Sichuan province, as a medium-sized country. And Indonesia, your country, Indonesia is a quite big country. Okay, the population is very large, 268 million, but it is still much less than China. Okay, and Indonesia is also a big country, a giant country with great geographic size. Okay, and China can be divided into East, Central, and West. And you can see the map. The east part of China is quite developed, similar as the developed countries and many developed cities, mega cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. Okay, there are some mega cities comparable to London and New York. But China has larger parts in the center and the west region, and the economic situation is not as good as East. So China is an unbalanced, diversified, and complex country, and it's much difficult to govern comparable to other countries. For example, UK, just now I have mentioned, okay? China is roughly 40 times of the population and the geographic size to UK. So you can understand that why Chinese government control and govern the country with different idea from Western political and the governance idea. Okay, China has been a centralized and unified country for more than 2,000 years. Not only for the People's Republic of China. People's Republic of China was established in 1949. Till now, it has 70 years history. But we have more than 2,000 years history of centralization and unification, including Taiwan. Okay, so if you know the basic history and the population and the geographic situation, you can understand more about China. And the poverty reduction data, you can see that before 1980s and the 1990s, China as the largest population country, it has the largest population of people in poverty. Okay, this red line is China. Okay, you can see that China has more people living in poverty before 1990s. Okay, higher than other countries, including Brazil, Indonesia, okay, India, United States, and South Africa, and the world average. But during the last 4 decades, from the reform and open in 1978, China's poverty people now reduced to 0. Okay, till 2020, it is 0. Okay, you know, you can find that Indonesia, your country's poverty reduction, also performance much better. Okay, but it is still little higher, has more population in poverty than China now. And compared to other countries, Brazil, in India, and South Africa, and Pakistan, and many other countries who had a similar economic situation as China 40 years ago. But now, China has reduced its poverty population to 0. So this is really a great achievement. And this poverty reduction is benefited from the economic development. During the same period, China has increased from a poor country. You can see before 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, and even 1990s, and the 2000s, China has been the economic situation not good. But after 2000 and 2010, you can find that China's economy grew steadily and radically. And I have made the calculation during the last four decades, okay, 40 years, China's economic growth had kept by 11% for 40 years. And now China is the number 2 economic body, just less than the US, 70% of the US. But if China increase, the economic increase by 6% and the US by 3%, China will overtake the US in 2033. So 10 years later, China will be the largest economy body, higher than the US. So this is why the US government is afraid of China. Okay, why the US government wants to take any measure to contain, to restrict, to threaten the US development. Okay, and although now it's in pandemic, maybe the economic growth rate cannot be 6% or 3%, but China's economy is still much better than the US. If we can keep 3% higher than the US, we can achieve this goal. And so at that time, China will be even stronger than the US. And this is the GDP per capita. Okay, you can see that in 1990, China's GDP per capita was only $300, and the U.S. at that time very, very high, 23,000, and Brazil is 3,000, Russia 3,000, South Africa 3,000, India 300, similar as China, and Indonesia in 1990 was richer than China, 500, okay, and Pakistan 300, Nigeria, Mali 300, but now 2019 and 2020, now China's GDP per capita is 10,000. Although it's high, it's smaller. It's smaller than the U.S., but it's higher than Brazil, 8,000. Similar as Russia, 11,000, and South Africa, India, and Indonesia, Pakistan. Okay, so this data, GDP per capita, can also show the performance of economic growth of China. And in 1980s, 10 years before 1990, China was even poor. It's the bottom 5 in all over in the world, in more than 187 countries, similar as Somalia, Uganda, Nepal, Guinea-Bissau, and then China, Chad, Rwanda, and India, Pakistan, these countries, 190 at that time. Okay, so you can understand the great achievement in economy and as well as poverty reduction of China in the past 4 decades. And 2020, 2 years ago, it was a milestone because at that time, Chinese government announced that the Chinese government has eradicated all the extreme poverty in China. So the people in the extreme poverty now, zero in China. Okay, this is benefited by the Chinese government and Chinese policy. And you can see that many rural areas, people, the peasants, the farmers, and the village people, now they live in their house, their harvest, their vegetable, and their fruits. They improve this greatly. Okay, and this is Chinese character, poverty reduction, 脱贫. And also in Xinjiang, poverty reduction. Xinjiang is the biggest autonomous region, provincial level, okay, autonomous region in China. And the US government smear Xinjiang human rights violation, but I can tell you, I have been to Xinjiang for many times. It is a lie. It is a lie, okay? It's a slander by the US government. Xinjiang people now live in very good condition because Xinjiang has very, very good fruits and the dates and the cotton. Xinjiang, the quality of cotton in Xinjiang is best. And the local officials and the people, local governments help local people, the weaker people, to improve their living standard greatly. And this is Tibet poverty reduction. Tibet people now, the situation improve also greatly as well as Xinjiang. And the transportation situation and the living standard, education and housing now improve greatly. So former US officials said that they agreed that there is no human rights issues. This is just a US government's weapon and instrument to slander China. Okay, and TikTok, TikTok is a software, is an app by Chinese, invented by a Chinese entrepreneur, and it is also can be used. It's not just for entertainment. It can also be used to improve the poverty reduction. And the rural people, the peasants, the local people can make some advertisements, can introduce, can sell their products, their agriculture products, their fruits, their foods, their vegetables by the TikTok. So when I use the TikTok, I always see some advertisements by the parents, and then I have bought many their products, their food qualities, such as the watermelon and this kind of fruit, very sweet. Okay, and by the good transportation, the business, the Taobao, and the Taobao is China's Amazon. So by this kind of food, by this infrastructure, the transportation, so their products can be transported from the village to the city. Okay, so it's an infrastructure for poverty reduction. It's very important. It's very important. Okay, I know that Indonesia is a country with so many islands, so it's difficult for you to construct the high-speed train or the expressway. But I know that there is a Yawan 铁路. So there is also a high-speed train in Indonesia supported by Chinese government. I think it's very important for the economic development and poverty reduction. And this achievement is caused by China's innovation. Fission. Our Chinese government has an idea. The poverty reduction is fission, but not fish. We give local people, we give rural people, we tell them how to become rich, but not just give them money. Okay, this is much different from the US and Western countries. China is not only by the welfare policy, the social security, we also improve the standard and the social security, but it is not enough. We must tell local people, we must tell them how to earn money, how to sell their products, how to improve their education, to improve their mind. Okay, so this is the first innovation. The second one, China has a strong party and the government. You know, China has one party, the CPP, okay, the CPC or CPC, Communist Party of China. And our party and our government can sustain the poverty reduction policy for 40 years, for quite a long time. So this is different from the democratic election and the policy changing greatly. Okay, so this is the second characteristic. The second one, the third one is precise poverty reduction. Our poverty reduction is not only for region, is not only for many people, but for everyone, for individual, for every household. I can give you some evidence right now. And the rural area prosper. And I have told you that in 2020, Chinese government has declared that we have finished the extreme poverty. But after that, this is not the end. This is not the end. After that, now the Chinese government is launching the rural area prosper. So this is a continuous policy. We will go on to improve the living standard in the rural area. And the final one is Confucianism and the benevolence. You know, the Confucius, which was 2,000 years ago, a great philosopher. And the Confucianism is the traditional philosophy of China. Although China has no religion, but China has great tradition and the philosophy from Confucianism. And the basic idea of Confucianism requires the government to be good, to be benevolent, to be kind to their people, including our Han people and minority ethnics, including Xinjiang and Tibet. Okay, there are many religious people there. There are many Uyghurs who believe Islam, who are Muslim, but they are also taken care by the Chinese government. Chinese government treats all these people equal. Okay, and fission but not fish. It's so we do not just give money, as I have said, but we improve the local the rural area by education, by industrialization, to make their agricultural food industrialized. Tourism, okay, you know, the rural area, most of the rural area are actually with many beautiful environment, and the water, the lake, the trees, okay. So we developed the tourism there to help to improve the local people living standard. And the medicine, we provide hospital and doctors and medicine there. And the communication, transportation, communication, you know, the 5G now is all over China. Now, actually, I'm now in my rural area, in my parents' home. It's not in Wuhan, it's not in big city. It's a rural area, but here, the internet is still very efficient. It's still good. No, not too much different from the urban area. And the science and technology to help the local people learn the science and technology. Okay, so you can find this is the tea. So the tea industrialization. You know, Chinese people are very good fond of tea. Okay, so the many tea in rural area, they are good quality. Okay, so the local government help local people to industrialize, to improve the quality, to reduce the fertilizer using. Okay, and this is the tourism. So you can find there's many beautiful, and you can travel there and you can live in their home for several days, and you will pay them. So the local people, their income will increase to enjoy the beautiful environment there. And the hospital, the doctors, nurse, they go to the rural area and to cure the disease of the rural people. Okay, and strong party in the government. China, just now I've said, has a tradition for more than 2,000 years. China is a centralized and high efficiency country for more than 2,000 years. And the policy stability, the one party, CPC, can keep the policy stable for quite a long time. And there are also competitions inside the country, because you know we have 34 provinces and every province are different. Every provinces, they compete to each other. Every provinces, they want to improve their economy, okay? And the governor, the official, they can get better promotion if their governance performance is better. So there are still competitions and flexibility. And China is not autocracy, slandered by the Western countries. China is a meritocracy. We choose our government, we choose our officials, not by general election, Western style, but by the education, by examination. You know, Chinese students are good at examination, okay? By the CPC inner evaluation, okay? And experience and well-educated officials. All the officials are college students. They have very high degrees and they have good experience to govern the country, to govern the province, and then they are promoted to the central leader. And the laborious people, you know, Chinese people are very work harder. So we get these achievements. And precise poverty reduction, you know, this is the handbook of the poverty reduction. It's a record of every family. So how many people in your family, and what's your income? What's your do you have some disease? The patients, okay? And what's your situation is very detailed. Every family has this kind of record, and then the local government can help the people very precisely. And the rural area prosper. This is the ravage classification. So we improve the hygiene and the environment cleanliness of rural area to teach, to tell the rural people how to do the ravage classification and to make the rural area clean, quiet, and a good environment. Okay, so this is rural area prosperity, prosper. And poverty versus prosperity. In our Chinese idea, we have different idea from the Western welfare policy. We think that the poverty and the prosperity, the richness is a habit, a living style. It is a way of thinking and living. Okay, why people are poor? It's because their habit, their living style has not changed. Okay, and the poverty reduction should be sustainable, but not political campaign and slogan, and just some welfare policy by the Western, by the France or UK or US government. They just, for example, give amount of money to people. They just provide some credit to people. This is not enough. This is not enough. Okay, poverty reduction should be sustainable, and relative to Western democracy, China's meritocracy can be better to maintain policy stability. So this is why China can gain this achievement during the last 4 decades, because China's political environment, political philosophy, and the political system is much different from the Western style, from the American style, general election, political campaign. Actually, the US policy now is politicized. It's too much polity, but not scientific. Okay, and we understand, we know that there is still a long way to go. We will not stop. We will go on to improve the living standard and the poverty reduction in the rural area. We will make China even richer and more prosper and more stronger in the future. Okay, 10 years or 20 years or 50 years. Okay, so this is not the end now. We are not self proud. Okay, so we are very clear. We are very clear. We are very we understand that this is just a short term, and there is still a long way to go. And the Confucianism, benevolence to the people. Confucius is a great philosopher who lived with the similar period as Plato, and a great political philosopher. And his idea is love, wisdom, equality, justice, peace. And he thought that the global was a whole. And now Chinese government launched the Belt and Road Initiative and the Human Destiny Community. This is not currently. These ideas can be traced back to 2,000 years ago, to Confucius. Okay? And the global cooperation, we are in the same boat. We understand that now the globalization, for example, our conference, now I'm in China, you are in Indonesia, and I think that maybe some participants all over the world, we are in the same boat. The globalization is a natural tendency. The anti-globalization is not realizable, okay? It's not feasible, okay? Why some countries are poor? Some countries people are rich and others are poor. This is unfair. This is unfair. We need to improve all the people, all the countries to achieve development. Okay, so this is our Chinese government and Chinese people idea by the Confucius, from the Confucius idea. Okay, but the U.S. and the Western country, they just want to keep their position. Only the developed countries, their people, their country are rich, but the most developing countries, they are poor. This situation is not good. Okay, this is the hegemony of the US. Okay, so freedom and democracy and justice are good, but they should be not only in one country, but all over the world. So every people, every country, every religion, including Muslim, including Iran, including Syria, including African people, African country, they shall also enjoy the development, the world development. Okay, every country has its speciality and future. So we must respect all the country, all the people, all the culture, but not just the Western culture, Western people, Western politics. The US thought that the Western politics is the best, so they just want to push the US style democracy all over the world. But it's not fit for the Iran, it's not fit for Russia, it's not fit for China. And China's policy, China's role has been proved to be good, to be effective. So why we change? Why we do not keep our role, keep our policy stable? Okay, so no hegemony, no teaching, but communication, but mutual understanding, but dialogue. Okay, so this is good. World poverty. Now there are still many people, even in the US. US is so rich country. The GDP per capita of US is 60,000. Do you remember 60,000? China is 10,000. Is 10,000. US is 60,000. Okay, but the US still has many people living in very poor conditions, homeless, and African, Rwanda, and Somalia. Local people are living in very bad situation. And the war in Syria, now in Russia, okay, because the NATO is expanding. So the Russian and the Ukraine, they are neighbor countries, okay. So it has very long history. It's very complex. It's not very simple. Just declared by the Western media. It's not so. It has very complex history reasons. So why in the world we still have so many wars? Why we cannot achieve harmony? Okay, so this is our Chinese idea. We are different. Cooperation, but not slander. The Chinese scientists and officials and people have helped the African countries, and this is the Rwanda medical team to help Rwanda, to aid Rwanda, and to local people, to African people, to help them to improve the industry, to construct the bridge, infrastructure, and the railroad. Different culture and minds can share and can be equal. So the Samuel Huntington, he was a very famous philosopher, political philosopher in Harvard University, who wrote a book, The Clash of Civilizations. Okay, but in our Chinese idea, Confucius idea, the civilizations should not be collide. The civilizations should be communicative, should be shared, should be understood by each other. So we advocate, we hope that community with a shared future for mankind, a shared future, okay? And the cooperation, but not politicization. Cooperation is good and beneficial to all. Politicization, that the America, the US is very, very politicized. It's not based upon facts. It's not based upon rationality since the Donald Trump. Okay, but now the President Biden also sustained the policy, not changed too much. Okay, the politicization is bad and harmful. Okay, and the outlook, finally, China has gained much success and experience in poverty reduction in the last 4 decades. China's development experience can be beneficial to other countries and the world. And you can come here. And I think that this year, after the pandemic, when we can travel freely, you are welcome to visit China and to learn, to go around, to see what happened here. Okay, can be beneficial to other countries in the world. And we, the ASEAN country, we are good friends. We want to make the market, the common market in Asia. We want to make Asia more prosperous, more development. Okay, politics and poverty reduction also need innovation. Not only the business, The company need innovation. The government policy also need innovation. And by communication and cooperation, but not politicization and slander, we can make this world better, including all the countries in peace, better and prosperous. So all the countries should be equal. We need friendliness. We need kindness, but not conflicts, but not hatred. Okay, thank you. I think that I have finished my presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Bing Wang, for sharing your topic about poverty reduction, China's innovation, and global cooperation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are come to the question and answer session. There will be just one session for 1 until 3 question about we just have 15 minutes. Any question? Okay, Mr. Aas and Mr. Aas and Mr. Mawardi.
Professor, I would like to ask you about the COVID-19 itself. You say about economic poverty reduction in China is going better, but I think China has got more impact about COVID-19 itself. So what do you think about how the recent condition about the China through poverty reduction itself, it's going better or not? Because in Indonesia too, we have same problem. Our economics is collapsed. Many facilities is going down, and we cannot handle COVID without Chinese help, government. Yeah. So what do you think about it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for your question. I think you understand China and Indonesia very well. I hope that the international students of China, you have responsibility to enhance the friendship of China and Indonesia as well as ASEAN countries. Okay, and you mentioned that economics, and I think that because of the pandemic, the economics has been impacted by the pandemic seriously. Not only China, but all the world. Okay, actually, this year I remember that the China's economic growth, the first half of this year, I think it's only about 1%. Or 2%, very small, okay. But I think that now the poverty, the pandemic now is releasing, it can be secured, and the Chinese government has done much to stabilize, to improve the economy, okay. I think that the political environment, political situation system in China is very stable, and China has the biggest market, and China has good the trade. ASEAN countries now is the biggest trade partner of China. So I think that we do not worry too much about the economy. With the release of the pandemic, the economy will improve gradually. Okay, Okay, and I think that particularly the Asia, we are in Asia, and Asia has the biggest market and the population. Okay, and the economy situation will be guaranteed, will be enhanced in the future, and the international trade between China and the ASEAN countries and Indonesia, and I think maybe 2 weeks ago, your President Joko visited Beijing, and President Joko is the first president visit Beijing with China. Okay, after the pandemic, after the Winter Olympic Game. So I think that the economy will be increased. Okay, since now, and the poverty reduction will be improved as well as the economy situation became better. Okay, and the poverty reduction is not end. And since now we have launched the rural prosperity policy, we want to go on to improve, to push the development of rural area. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Second question from Mr. Mawardi tadi, Pak. Jadi. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bu Mega. Okay, good morning, Professor Wang. Me, Mawardi from Brawijaya University. Okay, it is interesting to know that the China government have innovation for poverty reduction. Yeah. You see that there are giving fishing but not fish, strong party and government, precise poverty reduction, rural area prosper, and also the Confucianism. Okay, but when I'm trying to compare it with the Indonesia context, actually we can see that Indonesian, the program for poverty alleviation is contributed not only by Indonesian government, but also by private sector and also the civil society. Is there any innovative program that initiated by the civil society or private sector in China context? Okay, thank you, Bu Mega. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Malika, thank you for your question. Yes, I think that China is much different from other countries, even including Indonesia, because every country has its very special, different tradition and political system. Okay, you know China is a country governed by one party, the CPC, Communist Party of China. Okay, so China's poverty reduction policy can be kept stable. Okay, our government has not changed this policy for more than 40 years. So we have done this for 40 years, and by a comprehensive policy combination, including the social security system establishment. Our government also provides the basic security guarantee for those poorest people. But this is only one policy. Okay. The second one is industrialization, and just now I have mentioned fishing, but not just fish. We help local people. We tell them, we teach them, we educate them. We improve the infrastructure. We have done many other things, many other policies. Okay, so I think that the poverty reduction is a systematic policy, systematic work, and this the comprehensiveness, okay, is very important. Policy comprehensiveness, policy integrity, whole. Okay, we should look this as a whole, but not just dividing. Okay, but I think other countries, including Indonesia, is much different. And Indonesia and other countries have your political situation and policy situation. But my suggestion is that, so no matter, the government will change by the general election, by the political circle, okay? But even when you change the political leader, when you change the government, when you change the policy, the poverty reduction should be sustained, should be kept, should be stick to, okay? So I think that, I suggest that, so all countries should consider the poverty reduction, one, comprehensively, and two, long term, but not short term, but not just this, my term is not enough. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Bing Wang. Is another question? Okay, Miss Danias.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Prof. Binwang. As I read at BBC, China's economic growth for 18.3% in post-COVID comeback. I want to know what kind of strategy that China does and what sectors that grows and rebounds faster.
You mean the economic growth
Yes,
rate?
economic. China's economic grows 18.3% in post-COVID comeback. I want to know what kind of strategy that China does and what sectors can rebound faster.
Okay. Actually, China's economic growth was quite high in the last several decades. I just now have mentioned the data. It's 11% in the last 40 years. But maybe by the different data and by different period, maybe last 20 years is not as high as that. Maybe 8% or 9%, around 10%. But after recently, just this, I remember that last year it's 6%, and this year maybe it's less than 5% or 4%. Okay, but now China is the number 2 economic body. The first one, U.S., and China is 70% of the U.S. And now China's economic growth cannot and should not and do not need to be so high, not need to be as high as before. We do not need 8% or 7% or 10%. No, our governments are very clear about that. Okay, what we need is 5 or 6%. That's enough, because when you have a big economy, before 40 years ago, China's economy was very small, so it can improve 10%, no problem. But now it's the number 2, very big economy body. Okay, so it's impossible. And even improve the economy very high, for example, 8%, 9%. Okay, thank you. I think maybe there are some net.
Okay. Thank you.
And you have my email. If you have more questions, I think you can contact me by email. No problem. I'm very glad to answer your questions and communicate with you. I'm very happy to do that.
Udah ya. Oke. Okay, thank you, Professor Binwang. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally we are come to the last agenda. We would like to say thank you for invited speaker, Professor Binwang, and all the audience for active participation in the ballroom. I will read out the conclusion and the conclusion of presentation today about poverty reduction, China's innovation and global cooperation. China is entering new stage for economic. What is the next plan for prosperity and poverty reduction is one important issues. Economic growth, China innovation, global cooperation are important factor to China's future poverty reduction. China has gained much success and experience in poverty reduction, and be careful to politics also need innovation but not politicization. China's development and experience can be beneficial to other countries and the world. Hopefully the seminar from Professor Binwang will be benefit for us. Thank you for attention. Stay healthy and see you. I return to the next session to the MC.
We thanks to Professor Binwang. That's very inspiring presentation, and we hope it can be useful for all of us. And we also thanks to Miss Mega as moderator who have moderated the presentation.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the next one is the second parallel session.
And please kindly check your meeting room number, so each participant has to do the paper presentation in the room given. Or maybe if you are confused, you can contact our CP, Bu Sylvie or Miss Desi, and they want to follow you in the room. Thank you.
We also want to remind to every participant that has been go to the seminar room that after the parallel sessions you have to come back to this promo room for the next agenda today, which is the awarding ceremony. So please enjoy the entire sessions and see you later.
See you. Welcome back to Bravo 2022. Please, for your all audience, please turn on your camera, keep your smile and your spirit because we will next to moving the next agenda, right?
Exactly, Putri. We are moving to the next agenda. This is the moment that we already waiting for since day one until now.
Right.
Do you know what is it, Putri?
What's that?
This is the moment of awarding ceremony. We would like to announce you about the best paper of Bravo International 2022.
Alright, we will announce you about the best paper of Bravo 2022. The title is Impact of Community Extension Programs to Kapsu Sigma Faculty and Students. And it will be presented by Jonel J. Abalahon, MSHRM from Capita State University Sigma Satellite College, the Philippines. And today, it presented by Professor Edwin James B. Villavlor.
Please give a round of applause for him. And so on, we would like to invite to Professor Edwin or the representative to turn their camera on because we would like to capture this winning moment. We also want to invite to Professor Dr. Untitled Chapter, SA MSc AK, to the stage to congratulate the winner and take a photo sessions. To Professor Unti, the time is yours.
For Professor Edwin, congratulations for your achievement and thank you for your participation in Bravo International Conference. Good, and it is very interesting for you. Hope in the next you can come in Malang, Brawijaya University. We invite you, okay? Thank you. Applause to you. Yeah. Okay, thank you and enjoy with our seminar.
All right, thank you so much to Professor Dr. Untitled that has been congratulated the winner for the best paper presentation. Please go back to your seat. Thank you so much. And we would like to congratulate to every participant also.
Giving applause, right?
Yes, giving applause for them. You already made your best and yeah, maybe we can meet in another opportunities, right?
Exactly. We must, right?
Yes.
And don't be sad to the participant because we still have another upcoming international conference. Namely is ICHASWE, International Conference on Applied Science for Vocational Education on December 2022.
Wow, we still had another chance to...
Wow, so awesome, right?
Exactly. Now I will inform to all of the participants that ICHASWE is open for public and for online participants only pay for 300,000 rupiahs and for offline participants you have to pay it for 600,000 rupiahs. Don't forget to apply and join with us in another great opportunities.
Certainly, we will join.
Oh, sure, you have to.
Okay, for the first day until now, for 4th August until 5 Augustus, we have already had a webinar in Bravo 2022. And now this is the last time for us to joining this conference, and we already made a new experience and got a lot of new knowledge from the first day until now this conference.
But sadly, we have to say that we are at the end of the second day of Bravo 2022.
Let's close this conference with Hamdalah together.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
I am Geralino Kalontong.
And I am Khairunisa and
Putri Dwi Novitasari, as your master of ceremony of Bravo 2022, say goodbye and see you in Bravo 2023.
Wassalamualaikum.